Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm good. So, as you know, Linda, I am Antje Gehrken. I am the owner of A.R.E Partners, and you are Linda Scott. Did you know that?
That I am. Thank you.
Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about you.
I do residential mortgage lending. I've been in the business, believe it or not, 42 years, still going strong. I feel like I've hit my stride and there's many good years left in me to help people with mortgage financing.
Yes. And remembering the first time you and I worked together, was that in 2016, 2015? I don't remember
Somewhere around there.
exactly. Yeah. So I had buyers who had originally looked to buy a condo, and they knew that they had a projection for themselves, meaning they wanted to get a condo that they could lease out eventually and buy a single family home. And through the course of our search, I recommended that they go right to a two flat and live in one of the units, rent out the other unit, help build up some equity, and then go into a single family home. And so we did that, but their lending unfortunately was falling apart, and they were with a different lender, and they loved the place, and the lender said they're not going to be able to purchase this one. They're going to have to move past it. So I connected you, and you came in with your superhero cape, and you saved the deal, and they purchased that place, and they lived there for a few
Yes,
years, and they are in a single family home now, a few years later, and it's exactly the way they saw that. So thank you for doing that for them as well as my other clients, and I think you're
welcome.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes,
You are too.
thank you. I appreciate that. So 42 years in the business. I mean, obviously you've seen so many things over the last 4 decades. And obviously that lends to, no pun intended, it lends to your experience and why you're able to bring so much to the table. So what are you seeing in today's market? What do you see that's different?
Well, in today's higher interest rate market, what I see is basically what's old is new again. I see creative financing options that we used in the 80s trending now. For example, temporary buy down. You can buy the interest rate down to give the borrower a lower payment to start, which is very impactful, because when you go on that journey of home ownership, you want to be successful and you want to have a monthly mortgage payment that fits your budget. In fact, I did the exact same thing when I bought a townhome in Westchester. It was 1986. The interest rates, believe it or not, then were at 10% for the 30-year fixed rate. So I was like, what can I do to get this payment down? So my seller was willing to give me a sales concession. And instead of using it to pay all the closing costs, we structured the loan into what we call a 2-1 temporary buy down. So I had the privilege of paying 8% for the first year, 9% the second year, and then it went to 10% for years 3 through 30. But what that did is it lowered my first year mortgage payment. I think I did the math this morning, around maybe $136 a month. And you got to remember, in the 80s, wages were not as high as today, but it helped me fit it into my budget and made home ownership possible. Like, you would just set it up as a closing cost credit, and then it would be a conversation the loan officer could have with the borrower and say, hey, you have this concession. How about we structure a buy down for you? You can do a 2-1 or a 1-0, where you get a reduced rate just for the first year, which is a little less expensive. And then perhaps you'd have additional monies left over to pay some of your closing costs. So, I mean, as this market turns more into a buyer's market, if buyers are asking sellers to help with closing costs, and we're seeing those concessions on the sales contract, we could structure these temporary buy downs to help soften the blow of these higher interest rates.
Correct. And then what do they do?
Well, then obviously, if they are in the third year of home ownership, it'll go up to the actual note rate, whatever the rate is in the current market. However, there's no prepayment penalty on any loan right now. So let's say in 12 months, these interest rates were to fall, there's always going to be opportunity out in the marketplace for these home buyers to refinance and reduce their interest rates. You know, currently right now we're in the sixes for a 30-year fixed rate. I read an article not too long ago that Fannie Mae is predicting interest rates to potentially fall to 4.5%, maybe later in 2023, which would be extremely impactful for all the people who have closed with rates in the low fives up to the middle to high sixes where the rates are right now.
So let's say somebody today buys a home at $375,000. And so they bought it at a current interest rate, like let's say 6.5%, just to keep it simple. So in a year, if it drops to 4.5%, which would be great, this 2% lower, what are we looking at?
Well, what we would be looking at is at 6.5%, just your principal and interest payment on around a $350,000 mortgage. So your principal and interest would be $2,212. But if these rates drop to 4.5, let's say in a year, maybe 18 months, your principal and interest goes down to $1,773, $439 a month savings. So I think at some point in our market, we're going to see another mini refinance boom where people are going to be able to reset their interest rates and lower their payments. And it's going to be very impactful.
So we're talking about interest rates, and a lot of people concerned, obviously, because interest rates are higher than they were early this year and through last year. And so sometimes people are thinking maybe they should wait to buy a home until the interest rates drop again. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, being around for all these years, I find that market timing strategy where people think they can figure out the market, the real estate market, when prices will crash or fall or when the rates will go down, that strategy typically doesn't work because no one can really time the market. So I'm telling people today, like when they're purchasing, and let's say they're getting that rate in the high sixes for a 30-year fixed, or they're opting for an ARM or a permanent buy down of the rate, but whatever, it's that rate is a placeholder. It's currently a means to an end to get you into that property at today's prices, right? And then, like I said, there's no prepayment penalties on any of the mortgage programs. So once those rates cycle and go down, and they will, because what goes up must come down. I mean, that's part of the cycle. Then there'll be the opportunity to refinance and have that substantial savings. But if you think you can time the market and then rates drop in early 2023 or even later in 2023, I don't think that reduction in pricing that people are thinking is going to happen is really going to happen, because come springtime, if rates even move into the low fives and inventory is still low, you're going to see those prices go up. So what an opportunity this fall to get a house or a condo or townhome at a good price, and use that placeholder, that higher interest rate, unless you got cash, but use that placeholder to get you in the door, and then that'll be part of the plan for the future to refinance out of it.
Okay, so you're saying it's a great time to buy.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Okay. Awesome. It's very exciting. It's always exciting, right? We help people get into places that they call home, and home being one of the most important essentials. So it's a great honor for me to do it. And I always enjoy working with you. So we talked about inventory, and we still have, an issue of lower inventory. So what do we do about that? What are some of the programs and options that we can give buyers who are looking, but who can't necessarily find the exact right fit?
Right. Actually, Ansha, we have a wonderful construction to perm program, construction to permanent mortgage program in our portfolio, our Wintrust portfolio. And this product is just by far leaps and bounds amazing because people can use it to build their future dream home. I've done a few of those, one or two in North Center, and then one in Oak Park, where people actually secured the lot. They might have knocked an existing home down and built their future home. So that's an option. Or, I know realtors don't like to hear this, but if you're staying put in your current residence, we can also do major renovation, add an addition, or major renovation. Let's say they found a home with very good bones when they're out shopping, but it needs a total gut rehab. Our construction to perm program does a great job with that. So we base the value of the property on the future value based on that construction budget added to the acquisition cost. So what that does is it enables them to get the proper amount of cash to complete the project. I just recently closed one in Lincoln Park. The family bought a beautiful Greystone 2-unit, but now they had this huge vision to create this amazing 3-unit building. So they're excavating down, doing a duplex down on the first level. Second level will just be your standard apartment. Upstairs will be duplex up with a rooftop deck and an elevator. I mean, it's going to be an amazing project when it's done. But we were able to get them the money they needed to make this dream come true for their family. So that rental income, by far, I think will cover their mortgage payment from the 2 units.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show that obviously we have to think outside the box,
Yes.
be creative in our approach, and just to go back to the comment you made about realtors not liking people staying in their home and maybe rehabbing it. Actually, I love it. First of all, I don't want to force somebody to buy something if they don't really need to, right? Secondly, that home, when that person is ready to move on, is something that we will be able to sell to greater
it'll be more
benefit.
marketable, right? Because correct.
Yes. So, I mean, the ultimate goal is to see people be happy in the homes that they have, whether they're renting, buying, or investing. So that's super exciting. Okay. So we covered a lot of ground here. So if someone wants to, and we'll put up your contact information in this podcast, but if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
Well, pretty easy. They can call me on my office line, which will forward to myself, 773-883-4157. Email LAScott, SCOTT, @wintrustmortgage.com. And I also have a website. Do you want that also?
Sure, why not?
Sure. Linda Scott Mortgage Scoop, SCOOP.com.
Awesome.
The ploy of having a common name, your URL gets to be a little crazy.
I never have a URL for myself. Antje Gehrken is not. It's not the easiest URL. I'm sure no one has purchased it. So if I wanted it, it's out there. I don't know. Maybe somebody will purchase it now and try to sell it back to me. Who knows? But
who knows?
Okay. So as we wrap up this conversation, let's talk about Halloween, which is coming up in just a few weeks. You going to dress up?
Probably not. I mean, we live in a condominium, so it's we don't typically get trick-or-treaters, but when my children were younger, yes, we dressed up. We used to sit out on the porch on the swing and hand out candy and have a ball. But yeah, not unless I have a party to go to or something. But no. How about you?
I haven't decided yet. I am thinking about it. Halloween is one of my favorite times of year because it is so great to see all the kids out and, in the neighborhoods and giving out candy. And so I really enjoy that more so than dressing up myself. So anyway, we'll see. I guess I should have had a better answer since I was asking you, but I'm not sure.
No worries. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
I appreciate your time and thank you for joining me this morning. And we do have a couple buyers together, so I'm looking forward to continuing to work on those with you. And I'll see you next time around.
Okay. Thank you, Antje. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
having me.